We're back!
Welcome back to another episode of Sincerely B.
No, welcome to another episode of your daily dose of BJ. It's been a while, sister.
I know.
It's been a while.
Sis, I'm so excited to have you back on the pod.
Thank you.
How are you feeling?
I'm excited.
Oh my God. Well, let me tell you guys, she is an MVP because she came out here since the morning.
I know.
She woke up early to come and see me and do this episode.
You're making it seem as if I don't wake up early. I used to be a morning
She's trying to
person.
lie and she even can't. Like, look at her trying.
No, I used to wake up really early every morning when I was doing the gym in the mornings, but today was an exception and we woke up early.
And then she took a nap. She was here and then she took a nap.
Dude, it was weird because like I got like a really bad headache and I was like, I need to sleep it off and then I'm gonna be gooch, and now I'm gooch.
Yay! Well, either way, I'm excited that you're here.
Thanks.
So tell me what's up. What's been going on with you?
Oh my God, it's been such a hectic month. My kids have just had a lot of activities and I've just been on mom mode like 100%.
Yeah.
But hopefully everything's gonna start chilling down for like 2 weeks and then back again with those afternoon activities.
And I've been on auntie duties and that's been hard.
What have you freaking done, you liar?
Are you kidding me? The week before was
She's
chaotic.
lying.
I literally had the soccer and then we had ballet, and I live like on the other side of the freaking earth compared to where they live. So we had a soccer game and then we had to come back, get ready, and then we had my niece's ballet recital.
I know.
And that was a lot.
That was a lot.
So props to you,
I'm like
parents.
barely starting to like
recover.
I'm still dead.
Is like a mommy hangover real?
Well, it is right now. I don't know why I feel like I'm hungover. And I'm just so like, ugh. But you know what? We're here. We're going to pull through. We're going to make this happen, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the support on our last episode. It was so fun. So hopefully this one will be better than the last. What have you been up to? What's up? Why have you missed so many episodes, sister?
I have not missed that many episodes.
She's slacking, guys. Tell her.
I know.
Her down in the comments.
Technically, my sister's like low-key my manager. So she's like always up my buttocks of like, come on, you need to get it together. You need to post, blah, blah, blah. And like, I actually mentioned this in the episode that I'm going to release, where I talk about like that it's honestly such a full-time thing.
Yeah,
and I mean, it's fun and everything, but like when you have an actual job and then you're adding this to it, like it can be a lot. And I think there's just been a lot of events happening lately.
Yeah.
So like it's been hard. And I think it takes a lot of like time management, which I'm working on that. Like it's just a lot to balance, but I'm going to get it together. I promise.
Yes.
She's always like calling me. She's like, where's the episode? But I've honestly only missed 2.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of proud of myself. That is not that much, you freaking hater. Oh my gosh. So Jen and I were talking crap like we always do. And we were just talking about how people are so fake. Sister, so I'm super glad to have you on here because I feel like the topic that we're going to talk about really resonates with your age. And I mean, you're just like a few years older than me, you know? So I feel like you've kind of lived longer and experienced a little more. Mm-hmm. But I was literally thinking about it because we hang out quite often. Mm-hmm. And like, I just look at my friend circle and I compare it to your friend circle. And I feel like slowly as I'm getting older, like I'm either losing friends or it gets like a little more, I guess, challenging trying to make friends as an adult. Mm-hmm. Like, what do you think about that? Do you think it is like challenging to make friends overall?
Well, I think so. Just because everyone's life is so busy nowadays, everyone has something going on. So the way that I am making friends nowadays, it's honestly through my kids. Mm-hmm. And through events that we do together, and that's how we kind of like start making parent friends. And for me, at least, I try to become friends with people that are kind of at the same stage of life, so it's easier for us to get along, you know, versus someone that is like single and trying to like, you know, find out who they are and stuff like that. I just think like the stages, not saying that you can't be friends with people like that. I think it's just harder to connect with some people, you know, if you're not in the same.
Do you think you're a hater? Like, do you think that you hate on people that are single, that are your age, and you're just like, get it together?
No, not really, because I just feel like everyone is going at their own pace.
Yeah.
I feel like if anything, it would be opposite. The people that are single and they're just like, oh my God, you got together with someone so soon. You had kids like way earlier than I did. You didn't really experience those years that I maybe like other people experience, you know? So, no, not really. I really don't care about anyone else's life, to be honest. But I just don't feel like a lot of the times you just can't connect.
Yeah.
You know, it's just harder. And the relationship, I feel like, struggles a little bit more when you're around people that aren't at the same stage of life.
That is really true. Because, like, I just look at, I mean, I feel like I'm a pretty extroverted person, but that's because, like, I don't have, like, kids or anything like that, so I'm kind of just like meeting people along the way. Not that I'm like seeking for friends or anything like that, because honestly, like, I really like having a small group of friends, like my circle being really small and just like letting specific individuals in. But I have noticed that it does get a little more complicated. Not complicated, but I guess it's harder to relate to someone that's not where you are in life. That doesn't mean like I can't be friends with them, but like when they're asking you like, oh, like, let's go to the bars, like, let's go clubbing, like, let's go travel and stuff. And I'm like, well, now I have my husband to think about, you know, like I can't just like go out and about like without consulting him or like, you know, being like, do you want to come? You know, it's not like he like ties me down and be like, no, you can't go. But it's just like, obviously I'm not going to just pack my bags and be like, see you in 2 weeks, you know? So like, I just don't think I'm there anymore.
Honestly, I think now as I've gotten older, I just have realized that maybe sometimes, and I might be wrong, but I feel like maybe sometimes God puts certain people in different times in your life for a reason. And then when they no longer serve you or they no longer like push you to be better, I think maybe he removes them and brings you something else, you know? Right. So I think with every stage of life, you just like find certain people that you connect with at the time, and then it just, you know, you fade away because people have different goals, just different things that they want from life. And it's sad, but it's the reality where like you can fall apart. And honestly, guys, I feel like friendship breakups are so hard. Like they can be as hard as like an actual breakup, you know? So it's hard, but you just have to move on and realize that you no longer want certain people in your life because they might bring a certain energy that you don't want in your life anymore, I guess. Yeah.
Have you had any like tough friendship breakups that you're like, ugh?
Yeah, I've had a few. But you know what? Like I said, I just feel like people that are in your life for a certain amount of time for a reason, and then you just have to move on.
Oh my gosh. I actually don't think I've ever gone through like a pretty bad friendship breakup, like you would say. Like, what would that be? Like someone that you're just like really close to and then you just like fall apart, or like you're not super close to them but you stop talking. Like, what kind of breakup are we talking about here?
I just feel like you completely cut them out of your life. Like they're just like from one day to another, you used to be like this and then you just become complete strangers.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Maybe I have like attachment issues, that's why. Like, I don't get attached to people so easily.
Well, I don't either, which I find it like weird for me to feel those certain, or at the time, because I don't feel I get attached to people like that, you know? But I mean, it happens.
Yeah. I think I honestly do not get attached to people. Like, I think it's easier for me to remove people rather than like letting people in. Like it's hard for me to let certain people into my
and
life.
now I feel like it's also so hard because you don't know the intentions of people nowadays.
Oh
they might be like super nice to you in person or whatever and then talk behind your back. So it's just like
I have had that actually.
It's sad.
Yeah.
You just don't know like how genuine like people really are or what their intentions are, because they'll be like, "Oh my god, I'm so happy you're doing this," but behind doors they're like jealous
making
of you.
fun of you, or you know, like I'm sure a lot of people probably say that about
There's
me.
a lot of freaking fake people out there.
Yeah, like I'm sure there's so many people that reach out and they're like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you're doing that. Good job."
Yeah.
And then they're probably like cringing at all my videos.
Which is honestly, dude, I feel like it's a reflection of their unhappiness.
Oh yeah.
And it's not a you problem. It's not a you issue. It's their insecurities projecting onto you, you know? Like it doesn't really ever have to do with you. It's them, you know?
Yeah.
And it's sad because I feel like there's also people that are like outwardly, they're so beautiful and like their personality makes them ugly because of how they really are.
Oh
you know?
my god, yes.
I've had a few.
They can have a pretty face but such an ugly heart.
Yeah.
Like yes, absolutely. And that makes them ugly. Like to be honest,
Yes.
like someone can look so pretty and you're like, "Oh, like I love their aesthetics, I love their vibe." And then you like know who they truly are and you're like, "Wow, you're honestly ugly." Like your persona is just not the vibe. Like the way that they are towards you is just not the energy that you want to be around.
Yeah. Or like how people have beef with you, but it's just like, you have beef with me. I don't have beef with you. You have beef with me. Like
you're like, wait, we have an issue here?
Don't get that wrong. Yeah.
You're like, wait, you have the issue with me. Like I don't even know you. Like what? Yeah.
It's sad, but
that's so crazy.
Yeah.
I have had a couple incidents actually where I thought someone was like super cool and everything, and then all of a sudden like they just got like some, I don't know, maybe and I want to take accountability to like if it ever is me, I hope like people, I feel like we've gotten to that maturity level where we can talk things out.
Exactly.
And like they can approach
we're not
you
in middle school anymore.
Yeah.
If you have an issue, let me know.
Exactly.
And we can try to figure it out. You know?
I think I'm a pretty approachable person.
Yeah.
To come and like if it ends up hurting my feelings, but they're telling me the truth of something that I like did to them.
But then wouldn't you want someone like that to be in your life, that they'll call you out on
Absolutely.
your bull so that you can become better from that, you know?
Yeah.
And then it's like, dude, you're really messing up in this area of your life. Like, I think you should probably work on it.
Yeah.
And then that makes you a better person and you solve your issues,
Absolutely.
you know?
That is the type of friends that honestly, like at this age,
you need.
Yeah, we need. And someone that's going to keep us accountable and not just go with our, honestly, like dumb things that we're doing. Like if they see us messing up and they're like hyping us up in the back and they'll be like, yeah, like you do you, girl. Like, you know, and then like, but in the back they're like, oh, like they're really messing up. Like I would want someone to tell me like, girl, that does not look good on you. Like you are making yourself not look good right now. But I'm glad I have my sister, because she calls me out in like everything. She's just like, no, girl, like that makes you look like a really bad person, or like get your act right, because it's not like what you're doing is not right. So if you don't have a sister, I'm sorry.
Well, and again, you can have those kind of friends. And then I saw a TikTok the other day that was just saying like, if someone comes to you telling you like chisme that they heard from somebody else, it's like, it's because they've made it comfortable for other people to talk about you in front of them. So it's like,
that's true.
That person is shady, because it's like, why would they even think it's okay to talk about you like that in front of them, you know? So I don't know.
Like no defendiéndote type of thing.
Yeah.
Like they're allowing this other person like talking crap about you, and then like you're over there like, oh yeah, you know? Heck no. Oh my gosh, that is horrible. Like if they're so called your friends and they're allowing other people to talk crap about you,
are they really your friend?
Absolutely not. I would not consider that a friend.
Yeah.
No.
It's hard nowadays. It's hard.
Yeah.
And you really see the true person through actions like that.
Yeah.
Of someone.
Yeah.
Well, and I think being married, you find friends through like your husband's friends, their wives and stuff like that. So I think that's like also another way of making friends nowadays. It's not like in high school where you're like, oh my God, you're new, like be my friend, or we're in the same class, let's be friends. You know, I think that's how you start making friends.
Yeah.
Through like your husband's.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely do appreciate more of like that couple friendship, just because I think they understand like that married life and just like the different stages that you're going through, you know? So I just think like they're more empathetic of like situations. I guess it depends on like their marriage too, and like how loyal they are to each other. But like I do really appreciate those like married couple friends that understand like sometimes you can't always go out, like sometimes like you don't, like you just want to have like a date night, and like no so offended if you just like say no, we don't want to go out today, or you know, like I don't know. I think for Robert and I it does get a little more tricky because like we don't have kids yet, so we're kind of just there, but in a way we still understand it. Like I don't know,
because like I think you can have a friendship with someone who's also married.
Yeah.
To I just feel like you go through the same like maybe obstacles, or you guys might like argue over certain things, and it's like it's the same with every couple, you know. Kids adds like another level, but that doesn't mean that you can't be friends with someone that just has kids.
Yeah.
I also think that kind of goes with like your what stage in your life is in, right? So I think like once you transition from one phase to another, that really like switches up just everything in general in your life, like just the group of friends that you want.
Oh yeah.
And just what you want in life.
Yeah.
I just think that a lot of friendships don't last also from like high school to like adulthood or like college. Maybe college will last a little bit more, just depending on where people are at. But I just think like you're so much more mature, you know. You're just like not who you used to be. Like I feel like 5 years ago was a different me than I am now, you know.
Yeah.
So in that gap, like you just switch.
Yeah, it's true, because I mean I feel like I have stuck to some friends from high school that they have also matured in their own level, which has kept us connected in a way. Like yes, they go like through different paths, but like somehow like we always like end up finding each other again. Not like forcefully or anything, but it's like we know that we have each other's back no matter what. You know, like some friends like are not married, but we're still like really close friends. Some friends are married and they decided to like stop hanging out with like the single folks and everything. So it just like really depends on like what that person is looking for. Like for me personally, like I have always kind of kept the same group of friends. Slowly some other friends have kind of like removed themselves from my path, but I honestly think that as like a blessing in disguise, because like maybe they just didn't want to mature like everybody else, or they wanted to stay in like a certain environment that no longer suited me or just like the other friend group that we had. So
well, and I also think that like there's friends that like Tanya, for instance, that you guys said
Love you, Biff.
That like it doesn't have a lot of it doesn't need a lot of maintenance, you know, like you guys can just call each other up and like act like if you guys had talked yesterday, you know, which is always nice. Yeah. But that situation doesn't always happen. Yeah. You know.
I'm blessed to have her as my Biff.
She's so cute. Love you. Shout out.
Do you feel like after you got married, you did start losing a lot of friends?
Yeah, but I also gained new friends.
Yeah.
And I think it also goes because I got married so young. People were like starting college, like entering that new phase in their life, and I was like going into marriage, like it was like you know, so it was hard to be connected to those people. But then going this way, I found new people that were kind of in the same stage of life that I was going through at the time. So that's, I feel, where you create new friends. Yeah.
I'm curious, are you more like shy, or more, are you kind of like the one that always initiates like to other moms, like, oh, give me your number, like let's have a play date? Like, are you more extroverted or more like, oh, I'll just let them approach me?
No, I'm definitely the one that approaches most of the time. I think I used to be shy just because when it happened at the time where my kids were younger, like I was younger, you know, and they were older. So I feel like they were kind of like not accept me in a way. But some moms are just so cool and like they didn't care. But nowadays I'm always like, oh my God, let's have a play date. Give me your phone number. And that's the way that I've made my friends, honestly, because of my kiddos. And I want them to have friends, and I want to have mommy friends, you know? So if you're a mom and you are in need of friends, just reach out to people at like different events of your kids, because trust me, maybe like they're also looking for a friend, you know?
That's true.
Yeah.
It gets lonely.
Yeah, sometimes. Life is busy, so it's hard.
Yeah.
But it's always nice to have someone to like call and be like, oh my God, this is what happened today. Or, oh my God, my kid just did this. Is your kid doing the same thing? Like, please let me know I'm not alone. So it's nice, but it's not super like necessary, you know?
Yeah. That's funny because you were talking about like the whole transition thing, you know? And I think, so just comparing like the situation of like, that we're married, like you have your kids and I have my partner, and like I think I have a lot of like acquaintance friends, but like what would you say about like those individuals that kind of just love to do everything with their partner, and like it's always just them? Do you feel like that kind of develops like this codependency of like, I have to do everything with my partner, and that kind of keeps them away from making their own friends and being able to gain their own hobbies? And I don't know, like
I was in that bubble, honestly, when we first started, me and Gil, because, and maybe it was our age that at the time I was like, I just want you to be with me, and it's just me and you, which isn't bad, but I think it's nice for them to have their own space, so when they come back and reconnect with each other, they're happier, you know? Like, I just think you shouldn't depend on happiness from another person, you know? Like, you yourself need to find your own happiness, make yourself happy, so that when you go back to your partner, you are the best version of yourself, you know? I really, really encourage like people that are newlyweds, like to find their own hobbies, to start their own like thing that they can just be like, hey babe, you know what, I'm gonna go for an hour to go do something, you know, and you do the same thing. Because if you just keep it to yourself all the time, like me, him, and him, no one else, I just don't think it's healthy, one. And two, it's just like, I just think you need to become like your own person, you know? Like, I don't think it's healthy to just be you and him. Like, you guys need to find your own thing that is gonna better you outside of the relationship. Absolutely. You know? Like, it's healthy for you to like go on a hike and just decompress from like the issues of the relationship, you know, or him having time with his boys, or you having time with your girls. Like, it's okay to do that, you know? And I think a lot of people do it wrong, because I was one of them, where I was just like me and you, and we lost a lot of friends because of that.
I've been there too. So I got used to that. So when I got into this mature relationship with Robert, he really encouraged me, not like trying to push me away or anything, but really empowering me of like, find your own hobbies. And he told me straight up, like from the beginning, he was just like, I like to have my own thing. Like I love to like separate myself, hang out with my friends, because he has like 2-3 like very close friends, which I love, but like he like had always told me, and he set that boundary from the beginning of saying like, I like having my time with my boys, and it was never like a trust issue or like an unloyalness type of thing, but I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do with myself when he's not here, you know, because I had been so used to always relying on my partner to find things to do, to take me out, to you know, like just like keep me entertained. And he really encouraged me and empowered me to like be like, babe, like you are free to go and do whatever you want, like go and find a hobby that you haven't tried, like go and do so, you know. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, like what am I into? Like what do I truly like to do? And that's like when I started getting into yoga, when I started doing Pilates, I started working out, I started running, like, you know, there was just so many things that I knew I could do on my own, but also like doing things with my friends too. And I started getting like really I started opening up more, like of letting people in. But I also feel like I have that discernment of knowing like when some people are not being real with you, you know. And it's something that I feel we have to go through and learn, that some people like are just not, you know, you give it a try. And I think that's what's important, that you're at least trying to put yourself out there, and if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out, you know? Yeah, that was something that I'm really thankful that he kind of pushed me out of my comfort to just find things that I love to do. And now that I have found like passion for things, you know,
you just come home and you're just like, I feel so happy. Yes. I want to be happy with you.
Yes.
You
and
know?
It's exciting, like coming home and like telling them like the fun things that happened with your day, you know, like, of course we do. I'm not gonna lie. We do a lot of things together. We really do.
And we're not saying like, oh, have two completely separate lives. Like, no. We're saying like, take your time for yourself and, you know, make yourself happy. And it doesn't always have to be like, it's not all the time that you're doing it. Yeah. You know, it's just certain times that you're just like, you know what, I just want to go on a hike. I just want to like just decompress. I'll see you in an hour, you know? Yeah. And it does become a little harder when you have kids, just because a lot of your attention goes towards them and they just require a lot from you. But, I've learned that as the kids have gotten older, like it's easier for us to do our own thing, which I love. I love that he has his own thing right now, and you know, like I can do my own thing as well. I could work a little bit more on me, but you know, we'll get there.
I also think though that you were such like on mommy mode for such a long time. So it kind of took you a little longer to kind of come out of that and start finding things that you really like to do.
And also the mom guilt, to be honest, like kicks in so hard, because I'm like, I'm only going to have them little for so long. I need to enjoy these moments, because I know once they get to like their teenage phase and they're just not going to want to hang out the same way, you know? So I know I have to cherish these moments and just sacrifice that, because I want to spend as much time as possible with them before they just don't want to hang out with me anymore, you know? But also I've been in a relationship for 15 plus years, you know, and you just have to find ways to make the relationship work. And that's honestly one of them, because if you just close off the world and become you two, you will get annoyed of each other. You will fight more. You will find things that trigger the other person. And I just think it creates like an argument, and it's just healthy. It's healthy to take time for yourself. It's healthy to do things outside of the relationship. And trust me, it's just going to make the relationship so much more happier, healthier, and just strong.
Yeah. And mostly if you have been in a relationship for as long as you guys have.
Yeah. It's a journey, guys. It's a journey.
Yeah.
Because you decide to spend the rest of your life with one person.
Yeah.
And nowadays, when you're in an era where like everything is like, give it to me now. And it's like, you will get tired of the same person. You will get annoyed of that person, you know? So you just have to find ways to get creative and make the relationship work.
Yeah. I also think it becomes a challenge when like one of the partners in the relationship is more extroverted than the other person, and the other person is like out there doing everything that they want, and then this person's just like kind of like following them and whatnot, which in a way, I think like when you first start dating or whatever, like it might be something that you're just getting used to, that you're not super extroverted like the other person, so you're kind of just like going with the flow. But I think if you're in that relationship for a long time and you still haven't found your own identity, I think that's what builds up a lot of insecurity as an individual. And when your partner is out and they're doing something and you're just waiting at home because you don't have your own hobbies, I feel like you start kind of getting delulu and you're like, oh my God, like are they doing this? Are they doing this? Or like, or did they start talking to this person because I don't like to do that, you know? So that's why I feel like it's super healthy to do your own thing. And I feel like it brings like this like trust towards each other, where it's just like you're not the only one going out and doing your own thing, you know? Because like si estás encerrada en la casa and your husband or your boyfriend is like out and about, or your girlfriend or your wife is out and about and the husband, you know, like it can go both ways. I just feel like there's just a lot of conflict that comes out of that. Mostly because I have experienced it, so I know. And maybe some couples, they do well with that, and that's totally fine. But I know a lot of friends and a lot of people that were in that stage in their life where it started to become a conflict, where it's like, my partner is always going out and like no más me deja en la casa and everything, and it's just like, well, girl, you don't have to stay home. Exactly. Like, you can go do as much as he is doing, you know, as long as there's that respect, as long as it's that boundary, as long as you guys are communicating and setting those expectations of like, obviously I'm not going to let my man go freaking to a strip club or anything.
If that's you.
If that's you, that's you know? Like, but that's my boundary. Like, I wouldn't allow that.
Yeah, of course. Find what works for you guys. Give yourself boundaries of what's going to work in your relationship and go from there, you know? I just don't think you should just stay. Like, if you feel unhappy right now with the way your relationship is going, communication is key. Communication is key.
It really is.
Because the other person is not a mind reader, you know, and this goes both ways, not just saying it to a girl. Like, this goes both ways. Talk to them. Let them know what's bothering you. Let them know ways of where both of you can get happy. And that's just the way that's going to work.
Yeah. I'm an over communicator, I would say. We know. But I really am. Like, I think I went really... How do I say it? Like, I feel like Robert wasn't used to that sort of communication where I would tell him like, this hurts, this is why, blah, 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 you know, like every single time. And he would just be like
super overwhelmed.
Like, he would just be like, hold on, like, wait, you know? So it was something that we had to really work on. And I think it just has become healthier and healthier like every single day. And I'm going to be super honest, you guys, like with that, like it has made me just fall in love over and over and over again, because like we're growing together and we're maturing together, and it is just such a healthy boundary for you two. Yeah. And I'm super thankful that he is that type of person that's open to having that sort of communication and not just like shutting off. Like, you know,
that's something I have to work on, because I tend to shut down in situations like that sometimes. Yeah. Like, I'm willing to talk. I think Gil's more of the talker. He's like, let's figure out right now. And I'm like, I don't want to say hurtful things right now. So give me some space and then we can talk. Yeah. You know, which I don't know if it's 100% healthy or not, but that's just how I am, you know, and I know I have to work on it, but I like to take my time to just... I do think
that's very healthy, though.
Because I feel like if you do stuff at the moment, you're so heated, you're so just not in the right headspace, and you say hurtful things. Yeah. Because I think at the end of the day, the person you're with is the one that knows your triggers the most. Yeah. And it's like, you hurt me, so I want to hurt you right now. So I'm going to say hurtful things, you know, which again, I say it's not the healthiest, but I just like to take my time. So I don't do that.
Yeah. Oh, no. And I'm not saying that I'm literally, there are times where I me paso because like, I mean, everyone has like those triggers, you know, and then you just want to say something back to them and you're just like, you said something, so I'm going to say something back, you know, which I feel like that's like the first thing that like happens. But you have to take a step back and know, like, we're going to have to resolve this either way. So it's like either we make this worse and we're just throwing more wood into the fire, or we just like go our separate ways for a little bit. And then when we're both ready, we'll come back and just talk about it. But that's why I love having different rooms in the house, because
it helps.
There's times I'm like, you want to go at it?
I think growing up, when our parents, you know, were always fighting, like I saw that as normal. So when I came into this relationship, I was like, this is the way that you're supposed to do it. But it's like, no, it's not that way, you know? So it's something that I've had to rewire my brain and be like, you can't do that. You can't do those certain things, because that's what I saw, you know? So I'm still learning.
Yeah.
We're breaking those generational curses and everything bad. We are giving it away.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I feel like that also comes with you being the older sibling, where you saw more of that than we did.
Yeah.
Because you were so good at like preventing from us seeing it.
Yeah.
So for me, I was like, they did that, so I don't want to be like that.
Yeah.
You know? So like from the beginning that I knew I was getting into a mature relationship, knowing that this is the person that I want to spend the rest of my life with, like I knew I didn't want to do those same habits. Seeing how our parents were from the beginning, like I was like, absolutely not. Like, I'm getting triggered, like I need to like calm down a little bit, you know?
And it's crazy because there'll be things that will happen and it triggers you, and you're just like, oh my god, I don't want to feel this way anymore. So then you try other things so that you don't do the same cycle all over again.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Do you think a lot of childhood trauma like transfers onto like certain relationships in life, meaning like with your spouse, friendships?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. I think if you haven't healed from it and you go into a relationship without being healed, those traumas are going to show up in your relationship.
Yeah.
No matter what, because there are going to be certain triggers that happen in that relationship, and you're just going to act a certain way, and not until you truly understand the root cause of why you're feeling that way, it's going to keep coming up.
Isn't it so crazy how things that you thought weren't gonna affect you, or maybe even your parents thought that they were like, no están escuchando, like hay que seguir peleando. That's why I'm so careful when it comes to like fighting in front of our kids, which I'm not perfect. We do it a lot, but like it's something that I want to work on, because you think that they're so little and they don't understand.
Yeah.
And there've been times that one of them will be like, why were you screaming at daddy? Like, why were you guys screaming at each other? And I'm just like, ugh, you know, like I don't want them to have that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But do you also think that they need to understand that sometimes there will be conflict, and at the end, like, you're teaching them that yes, there's going to be conflict, but mommy and daddy are resolving it too.
Yes, and it's important to also do it in front of them so that they see, okay, they were arguing.
Yeah.
How are they fixing it?
Yeah.
You know, so it's also important, and that's something I'm working on, where like I want to also fix the issue in front of them so they know, oh, there's a solution and everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I don't think our parents did that.
No.
It was constant like fighting, you know?
Yeah.
Where
and then like they would just like isolate from each other, and then there would be like days where they wouldn't talk. So it was it was like, I think I got used to it, where it's like, oh, they're in a fight, so they're not going to talk to each other, you know? But then you come into this mature relationship and you start noticing that you're kind of closing yourself off when conflict arises, and then you're just like, wait, like I do want to fix it, but I don't know how, because that sort of communication was never taught in that household, and it was what you're used to, and it's like, you know, it, and I think that's how that generational trauma happens, because it's like it's a cycle that you're continuing in your own family.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to break them. But like I said before, if it's not wealth and health, I don't want it.
Period. Talking about like these generational traumas and generational chains that we're trying to break in our own families, like what's one thing that you are really working on for like your household, with your kids, with your partner? Like what is something that you know you're just like, this is what I'm praying to God for, this is what I want to break, because I know it has been stuck in our family for so many years?
Finances, girl. Finances is my number one.
Yeah.
Because we weren't taught just how to break those chains of like how to save money, how to invest, how to make proper decisions on just spending, you know. And it's gotten better through the years. I'm not saying like we're horrible, but it's just something that our parents never taught us, you know. It's something that I think it's so important to build just generational wealth and stuff like that like I think like Latino families in general like don't really emphasize it on their kids, you know. So it's always like growing up, it's always like a struggle of like, why can I afford this, or why can I buy this, you know. Retirement plans, even as that, you know, I just feel a lot of people like don't, and maybe it's different in Mexico than it is here, but it's stuff that like we never really got taught of, that I learned later on as I got older, that I want to pass on to my kids. Because when we first got married, we just had no idea about just anything about money, you know, and we would just spend like crazy and not really think about like, oh my God, like that was a dumb buy, you know, like it's just little things that like that I don't want my kids to deal with in the future. And something that I'm currently breaking, you know, so that when my kids get older, like it's something that's already embedded in their head and they know. Or debt and stuff like that, just how to handle like credit cards and all that stuff that like our parents really didn't show us.
And it's crazy because even in school, well, at least like when I was in school, there isn't like any curriculums that teach you about those things, unless you like really go out of your way to go and find those things. But I do definitely think that it's something super important to have kids learn at an early age, you know. And also like, well, I went to college, but like you had to like look for those sort of classes. Like it wasn't like, you know how there's like those prereqs and everything, like I didn't have to take that. I don't know, maybe now, but I don't think so, unless like you're going into like business and stuff like that. But it's like, I think it's definitely something super important for you to learn about, to gain knowledge on, you know.
What about you? What's yours?
I definitely think having that financial freedom, for sure. I think that's like one of my biggest things that I'm working on as an individual, like as an individual person. And my God, I hate giving Robert so much props to like just us. But he's someone that has definitely like pushed me to, you know, get out of my debt, be able to like save money, be able to, you know, like he's just like a lot more knowledgeable, maybe because he's older, but but he is someone that like really encourages me to step out of that cycle. But yeah, I think for me it's definitely breaking that, just being that financial freedom, you know, like not getting into stupid debt and stuff like that. So praying to the Lord that he just guides me.
I know. And another big one is just having God as a foundation, you know, in my family. That's like the biggest one, because without him,
no, for sure,
we're nothing. It's a struggle. And nowadays with everything that gets thrown at you through like pop culture and social media, it's just like they make it so easy for someone to just get in their sinful ways, you know. So,
or hop on that, like, what is it called,
bandwagon. So I just think it's important to just have some kind of like faith with your kids and teach them that, which I feel like we didn't get taught that. Like, yeah, we were grown up, we were like Catholics, but like mom never really like practiced it, you know, until later on in our lives when we got older, and she was like, oh, like we changed religion,
you know.
Yeah.
But I think mom was really good at like not forcing it on us.
Yeah, which I think is also important.
Yeah.
It's also, that's really important because I've seen people who get it pushed down their throats a lot and like they want nothing to do with it.
Exactly. Yeah. And I feel like that's why I can talk about my faith so easily, because I know that I had that encounter in like such a special way, you know, like I wasn't like forced to transition in like religions, or I wasn't forced to like have a relationship with God. It's like, I don't know, God was just calling at me.
I think when you have that, like that one moment where you just feel so connected with him, you just know the feeling, you know, and you're just like, I never want that to go away, you know. And yes, the enemy will throw stuff at you to kind of distance yourself from it, but like it's like a weird comparison, but it's like a drug, you know. You're always looking for that feeling that you once had, and you just keep wanting to, you know, but the enemy's always like, no, like, look what I have, like this is way better. And it might feel good at the moment, but it's not everlasting like God's love, you know.
Because like you fall back into that temptation, and then you feel guilty at the end doing whatever you did, knowing that that's not the right way, because God has already showed you the right way. And I feel like the love that God has for you and shows you that that's no longer you, and then you do the same thing again, and then you're kind of left empty, and you're just like, like, darn, shouldn't have blacked out, I knew it. But yeah, temptation's real, and it's hard. I mean, I don't want to say that it's easy. Like when you find this relationship with God and you have this encounter with God, like that is when the enemy hits you even harder, like showing you like, this is better. And, you know, so like you're fighting everything, and, you know, there's a lot.
Es bien mentiroso. Oh my God, this is already going into a whole ass new topic.
This is how our brain works. Anyways.
That's a story for another episode.
Yeah.
We'll get into that in another episode.
Yeah, for real. I love having these conversations with you, because if you guys haven't watched our first episode that we did together, we talked about how we used to never be this close. And I'm really thankful that we're able to talk about these things. Although we have like different opinions on certain things, or we live life a little differently. Like I know there's some things that you don't agree of me doing, and then some things that I think it's super wacko. But you know what? Like I think that's what also,
it's what's beautiful.
Yeah, you know? I think that's also what's beautiful about friendships too. Like being able to have opposite feelings towards things, or just like opposite thoughts, like opposite opinions on certain things, but also like having that respect of like, yeah, like you believe what you believe, and I will too. But there's like that level of like respect of knowing that like there's like those values that we still know that we keep close to ourselves, you know. And I think that's one thing that I definitely cherish about friendships now, that it's like if we don't have the same values, we can have different opinions on certain things, but I think I look more and the way that you're living your lifestyle and your values and the morals that you have, and that's what I'll respect. You know, I respect that from you. If you keep it 100 and you keep it real, and you're not like faking being like a certain person on social media or a certain person in real life, like you're two completely different people here and there. Like I don't respect that from a person. I just think the fakeness that comes along with it's dreadful, you know, and it just like wastes your energy, and you're just like, I don't even know who you are, like, you know, just
you don't even know who you are.
Don't even know who you are. Like, keep it real. And I just think I also just think that there's just so much going on that people lose their identities because they're trying to fall into one category, but then they're like, maybe that's not me. And that's cool. I think it's completely normal that you try to like dip your toe in certain things, but I just don't think you need your toes in every single pool, you know, like choose, like I understand. Have you seen like those TikToks where they talk about like that balanced lifestyle? Mm-hmm. And I'm honestly kind of like that. Like I love to have like a very slow, minimal life. Like just like if it was for me, I would be living on like the countryside right now, you know. But I also love to like travel and be on like go mode sometimes, and I totally get that. But that doesn't mean that I'm losing my identity. Like I love doing different things, but I'm not being fake about who I am as a person, you know.
Vibes are vibes, and if the vibes are off, girl bye.
Yeah.
Or boy bye. It goes both ways.
Yes. Both ways. But anyways, I think at the end of the day, like you mentioned in the beginning, like if you lose those friends, it's for a reason, and not everyone has to like transition into different chapters every single time. Yeah.
No, it's hard. It's hard. Friendships are hard. It's like a freaking relationship, you know? You're dealing with a whole ass personality, and it takes work, but if it's not meant to be, and if the vibes are just not there anymore, like I said, let it go. Let it go. It's probably better for both of you, and you both will stop wasting your time.
Well, sis, thanks so much for joining me on another episode.
Thanks. This was fun.
Oh my gosh, I think we talked a little bit about a lot.
Yeah, I know. This is how our brain works, guys.
It really does. Like we try to stick to one topic, and then we start talking about like butterflies and rainbows when we started talking about like home decor. Oh my gosh. But anyways, thanks for coming out here at like 5 a.m.
Thanks. I'm so tired.
You are a trooper for sure.
Thanks. If you could just live a little closer.
I wish. I wish.
But with this economy.
Yeah, for real. Well, guys, thanks so much for tuning in to today's episode. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Comment down below on other topics that you would love for us to chat about, and we would most likely love to talk about it.
Yes.
I think we're pretty good at like just giving our opinion. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. Whatever.
Bye.
Don't watch. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow if you are listening on Spotify to keep up with our episodes weekly. Thanks so much, you guys. Love you. Sincerely,
J.
B.